Okay, we have sophomore linebacker Derek Larson. Derek's going to recap the Fresno State game, preview San Diego State, and then we'll take some questions.
So the game, I thought we played really well. The defense, coming into it, we knew we had to, bounce back to what the Aggie defense is. After the past 3 games, previous to that, we've been playing solid defense, but we knew that the second half especially is when we needed to play at our best. And during the week, during practice, Coach Wells was putting a huge emphasis on coming out strong and, holding their offense to minimal points and having our offense score more, which is what we did. And I thought, a lot of individual players had great games. Chase Christiansen, I think Ian Tongia had a great game. And, all phases of the defense were playing really solid. So
Doug just mentioned that different guys led the team in tackling every single game. That must show that it's a team defense.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. I feel like, everyone's trying to fly around and get to the ball. And Coach Miley's put a huge emphasis on, effort, try and get to the ball, have everyone be in on the tackle. And kind of like what you're saying, I think everyone's trying to get in on a piece of that tackle, and it kind of shows every week that, someone different is getting there and getting a piece of those tackles. So
we talked about with the coordinators this idea of all these drills you do to create turnovers.
mm-hmm.
So there's an effort there. It just hasn't happened a lot.
That's, I think, the biggest emphasis that we're going to see from our coaches this week is we got to get turnovers, because I'm not sure how many games we're going on now where we haven't gotten turnovers. And, we've put the emphasis in practice, but it's not translating over to game time. And, Coach Miley's been harping on that, try and strip the ball, try and get it out. And, our safeties are going to be looking for those opportunities as well. So
once somebody's got a guy and you come in, are you trying to punch? You're trying to rip the ball?
That's the idea. Yeah, that's the idea. Have the first man get there, secure the tackle, and then anyone else coming after, go straight for the ball and try and get it out. And I think that's something that we think about, but we're not doing it all the time. And so that's, I think, a big emphasis for us this week is actually, putting into practice, during practice and in the game. So.
Derek, just tell me, you got Pumphrey, you're facing Pumphrey this week. He leads the nation in rushing yards by a substantial margin. Just how exciting is it to go up against a guy like that, especially? And I'm sure you guys are motivated because he had a pretty big game last year in San Diego.
Mm-hmm. It's nothing but respect for a running back that can do that well. And San Diego State, they run the ball really well. That's what they, that's their bread and butter. And last year we weren't able to stop that. I think they ran the ball 55 times against us last year. And, coming into this season, one of our goals was stop the run, have a defense that can stop the run. And this is going to be a test for us this week because San Diego State, that's what they do. And so I think if we can all really focus in on, being that defense that can stop that run, then it's going to be a huge test for us.
You obviously would have played special teams. Did you play any defense in that game?
I didn't. I just
All
played special teams, yeah.
So you didn't get a chance to go against him or
I didn't.
see what they're – because, it's got to be their line besides him,
Mm-hmm.
their scheme and all that. And then he is really, really good at avoiding hits and getting through guys at his small size, too.
Just watching on film even, he can make nothing out of something or something out of nothing. And their line is very physical. They have, physical fullback, but that's what we need to come and do is out-physical them. We need to be the more physical team. We need to, set that tone. And so that's something that we're really going to be focusing on this week, I think, is just being that physical team in the front seven. So.
We haven't had a big problem this year with missing tackles, have we, in games?
I feel like there's always room to improve with it. But overall, I feel like we've had, when someone does miss a tackle, there's someone right there behind them to, finish the play off. And just like I was saying earlier, there's always guys flying to the ball, and you can see it on the film. There's always someone running to finish the play off. And so that's really what we need to emphasize this week as well, coming up with the running back that we're facing and the running team that we're facing, is everyone's got to get to the ball.
Is there platooning almost going on with the linebacker spot still? I mean, it seemed like outside you guys played a little more constant. The inside guys were kind of two new guys that come in together, and then another two guys that come in. Is that going on a little bit?
Yeah, there's been rotations with it. All guys are getting a lot of time. Anthony Williams, Brock is playing inside as well, and Chase and Lecky and Alex Huerta. And, everyone's been playing really well at times. It's just kind of how the rotation is going, and I'm not sure exactly how Coach Cotto wants to do things, but as long as we're getting out there and getting the tackles, and that's what I think really matters.
A couple personal questions for you. You came here as a walk-on. Nothing's really guaranteed. Are you, is it, I don't know if it's the right word, amazed that you're playing as much as you're playing, or did you anticipate, hey, if I get out there, I can show them what I've got?
That's exactly what I wanted to do coming into it, because, I saw firsthand with my brother. He was in the same situation. He walked onto the team, earned a scholarship, and, ended up being a first-team All-Mountain West Conference player. And, I saw that and saw that it's possible, and I want to do the same thing. I wanted to come out. I wanted to continue playing football. That's why I walked on. And it kind of went goal by goal. I wanted to earn a scholarship, and then I wanted to earn playing time, and then to start. And, I just want to keep pushing myself forward as much as I can as well.
The other personal question, were you a volleyball fan before you married your wife, or have you become a volleyball fan after you married your wife?
I did not know much about volleyball before I met my wife, so I know a lot about it now. So definitely volleyball fan now.
It looks like she's having a good year too.
Yeah, they're doing great. She's doing really well. They're all playing really well, a lot better than last year, so they're doing really well.
Did you know her from high school?
I didn't. Her dad was actually my assistant basketball coach, one of my assistant basketball coaches in high school, but I didn't put the two together. And then I met her up here in college and kind of put the puzzle together. It's kind of funny.
Anything else for Derek?
Good job.
Thank you.
Sure.
Okay, we've got junior running back Tony Lindsay Jr. Tony's going to recap the Fresno State game, quickly preview San Diego State, and then we'll take a few questions.
I think this past week we played very well for the most part. We started off good, and then at halftime, that was the big key of the game, coming out at halftime strong, and then finishing the game from there.
Tony, just how big of a deal was it for this past against Fresno State? You guys didn't turn the ball over. You didn't allow a sack. So just how big was that for the confidence of the offense to have zeros in both of those categories?
That's very good. We emphasized that all week in practice. We practiced hard, and then it just played off in the game. And then I turned the ball over last week, and then this week I made sure that wasn't going to happen. So it was a plus for us.
I think we talked to you after the Colorado State game about what you did with the big game, but let me ask you again, did you yourself change of how you're approaching the game after the two running games against Air Force and Boise State to run more, harder, better? Because it just seems like more things are happening. I mean, those are two good running teams defensively, but you seem like you've really changed in how you run the ball.
Yeah, those first two games, Air Force and Boise, it was disappointing. And then I talked to my brother, and he gave me a lot of motivational stuff. And then I had to make sure, get on the line and make sure they helped me out. And then I was able to produce, do stuff better the next games.
So maybe it's not just you, it's everybody offensively took it to heart.
Yeah, as a whole, yeah. That I was rushing for like maybe 20 yards a game. It was disappointing. So our goal was to make sure we get more than that. So I had to run with anger. And then the O-line, they said they had my back. So, yeah.
You mentioned your brother. What's been the reaction of your friends and family to the success that you've had the last 4 or 5 weeks?
A lot of stuff he tells me is like personal, so I have that like built up in me. So, yeah.
You're obviously going to face a real challenge this week with San Diego State's defense.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know about them thus far?
They're very physical up front, and they have 5 DBs, and so their safeties come up short. So, yeah, they're a good defense overall.
Do you get excited to play in a game where, like, the leading rusher in the nation is playing in that game and you're on the other side? What's
Yeah.
your feeling about that?
Yeah, it's always competition. I look at him and Jeremy McNichols at Boise, and I always see how many yards they got. And I try to not compare myself to them, but try to just compete and try to get where they're at, because those guys are really good.
How did it feel offensively to come out and drive the ball in the second half like you guys did in this game compared to like it's how it's been the last couple of games?
I think it started with Coach Wells. All week we based on our offense and defense coming out strong at halftime. We changed up practice a little bit, and we had our competition drills like right after our applesauce break and stuff like that. So we're big on that, coming out at halftime and doing well.
And that last couple of drives
Mm.
kind of gave it to you, let you kind of
Yeah.
take care of things. And you know, I think there was only like one play maybe you got stopped for 0 yards in the last quarter and a half of the game. That had to feel good too.
Yeah, Coach Chico Canales, he told me, get ready, we're gonna ride you this last drive, and I was like, all right, we'll go. So yeah.
Anything else for Tony?
Thanks, Tony.
Yep.
Okay, we've got head coach Matt Wells who will recap the Fresno State game, preview San Diego State, and we'll take some questions.
All right. Daniel, you ready to roll? Good? Okay. Well, I was very proud of our guys, really for the last 2 weeks of their preparation and the things that they did during bye week. I thought they did a really nice job of focusing on what we can do to improve, really blocking out a lot of distractions and found some ways to win. Played off each other, I thought, in the second half and gained some momentum and finally did what we needed to do to win. And so hopefully we've learned from that and we gained some confidence through that because we're going to certainly need it down the stretch. But again, it was a good team win, and I'm happy for those guys in that locker room. Now we're on to San Diego State, which is obviously the big time opponent. What they've done this year is they've got a good season going right now. It's a good program. They've got a lot of momentum. This is a program that's won a lot of games since that early loss. I think was it to South Alabama last year, Penn State and South Alabama, and then they go on a roll. And when you go on a roll and you win games in different ways that they've won them, you gain a lot of confidence. And I think that those guys in that locker room over there have that right now, and they're very, very confident in what they're doing. Very, very well coached, both sides of the ball. And I should add 3 phases. I got a lot of respect for their coaching staff. You guys know I coached for Coach Long for 2 years. Learned a lot from him. He's been really good to me as a young coach, and that a lot of the defensive staff. One of them played for us at New Mexico. I've coached with a couple of the other ones, and Bobby Houck, as special teams coordinator, Jeff Horton as the offensive coordinator. I got a lot of respect for those guys. They're very, very well coached. They know who they are, and they're not going to deviate from it, and they're going to come in and try to oppose their will upon us. I know it. And they're very, very well coached. And I don't think that's a staff or a team that cares about tendencies. And they're going to do what they do, and they're going to do it very, very well and very, very efficient. And so much respect to them as a staff and as a program. And so we got a big challenge on our hands, and it's exciting to have them at home. And hopefully we can get this place sold out, get our students back. I know they're well rested from fall break, and they got a good rest last weekend, and so we're going to need them at full throttle Friday night. Got an early kickoff, so I'm excited about that. So all our people in the Valley will be here. I know there's a 4 o'clock kickoff. I know there's one team that's out of town. I get that, but the other ones are in town, and one's not playing. So hopefully we can get a lot of people out to support the Aggies in a big game for us Friday night. So with that, I'll go ahead and open it up for questions.
At the football media days, Rocky was saying, and I thought it was really interesting how teams like you and like San Diego State, he thinks it's an advantage to build from the middle out.
Yeah.
Like a baseball team. He said you get the big, strong
No doubt.
linemen and run the ball and eat the clock, and you don't have the 5-star guys all over the place. Do you see that? Do you agree with it? And is that what they do?
I totally agree with it, and that's totally what they do. I think I learned some of that from Coach Long, coaching for him for 2 years. It is like a baseball team. You do build from the middle out. Strong center, a good quarterback, nose guard, middle linebacker, safeties. I look back at our teams here at Utah State, and I think we've had a good core. Certainly they do at San Diego State. That center guard combination, the tailback. I look at them on defense, the 2 backers inside, and those 3 safeties. They're very well, and we're not even talking about KZ out on the corner, who's the best corner in the league. But Coach Long's coached some good corners too. We had some good corners at New Mexico when I was there. One of them still in the league, and but those guys have. They build it from the inside out. But I'm going to tell you where they build their program: toughness, off season. That's how he's got San Diego State winning ball games. These guys are tough, and they're not. You don't build toughness during the season. You do it during the off season and during the summer. And I certainly can see Coach Long's thumbprint on that team and that program, just knowing what he's all about, and that's what he's about. And I think that's why you see a consistent, good, tough, hard-nosed football team.
I know it may not have been your area to recruit when Pumphrey was recruited to San Diego State or whatever, but I think there's some mention that Utah State was one school that kind of looked at him or whatever. How heavily was he really recruited?
I'm not sure, Al, to be dead honest with you. I don't even want to speculate, so I don't even know. And I haven't personally had Vegas when I was an assistant, so I'm not sure.
But I mean, him and Penny were both guys that I know you.
Now, I know, yeah. Now I can talk about Penny because we were heavily involved in recruiting Richard, and tremendous family. Great young man. That one came down to the wire. We were knee deep into that one and sat in that living room in that school, and I would like to have that one. He's a good player.
It just seems like that they've got a few guys who've transferred back from major schools back to California, but they've kind of done a decent job with the guys around. Is San Diego?
They've done more than a decent job. They've done a nice job of cultivating a lot of those Southern California kids. And being able to evaluate them. They get out and see them, whether it's Friday nights, I'm sure, during the fall. But I know they do a lot of recruiting by car. And I think Coach Long's done a nice job of getting a lot of those Southern Cal kids to stay home.
Your comment about they don't care about tendencies, meaning your tendencies, they just can do it.
No, I'm sure they care about our tendencies. I'm saying that what they're going to do. I mean, they're going to pressure. They're going to get in 21 and 22 over 50% of the time and run power and lead, and zone extra and toss. And, I think, I'm not sure they don't call the play out before they run it, let you know it's coming. We had a little bit of tendency to do that when I was at New Mexico. But that's what I'm saying. They're going to do what they do. 19's going to carry it an awful lot. 20 is going to come in and carry it an awful lot. 15's he's special. I mean, that kid, to play fullback and do what he does in that offense, and he's really good.
There's a quarterback before that.
Well, there's
That mentality, right, Coach?
yeah.
You
know-
wanted to be a blocking back, wouldn't you, in your day?
Oh, are you kidding me? I'd have been a coach a lot sooner. Coach Long's an ex-quarterback. I don't know if you guys knew that. Yeah, the option running quarterback at New Mexico as a Lobo. Really, really good player, they tell me, back in his day.
All conference his senior year. I think.
Yeah, he was a good player. Yep.
I think I remember his name.
Yeah. He let the players know when we were at New Mexico.
Matt, San Diego State leads the Mountain West in turnover margin. You guys didn't turn the ball over against Fresno State, and you didn't allow any sacks. So how big was it confidence-wise for the team to accomplish those two things against Fresno State?
Yeah.
Into this game?
Yeah, it's really good. I think we've been very good on offense in terms of not turning the ball over and not throwing picks and being smart with the ball. Kent's made good decisions. Our backs have done a nice job of securing the ball. Some of the no sacks is some receivers getting open a little bit better, and quarterback throwing the ball away when it's not there, not taking a sack, and quarterback being able to escape. And so those, like I told you guys, a few weeks ago when we gave up too many sacks, and they weren't all on the O-line. So I think that's certainly a better job. We've done a nice job of not turning it over so far. In the last few weeks, we got to get turnovers on defense. We haven't gotten any since Arkansas State, and or we'd be one of the leaders in turnover margin because we're not turning it over on offense. We just ain't getting any.
Your comment going into the bye week was you need to throw the ball a little better, verticals. The throws that Kent made in this
Better.
game were some of the best we have seen
Better.
this year.
Yeah, better. We're getting better on that. Just spend a little bit more extra practice time. And Coach Bo Knight and Coach Luke Wells just doing a little bit more extra in practice in terms of that, and maybe a little bit more emphasis. Better releases, better time, better timing. I should say more time by the O-line, better timing by Kent, and learning how much air to put on a ball and not. And it's also wide receiver specific. You got to know who you're throwing to and how they're being covered, and so it changes the flight of the football a lot of times. And I think we threw it a little bit better this week.
The game last year at San Diego State, we'd come off a huge game, obviously, going in there, had some momentum going, and just got steamrolled by them.
You put it nicely.
Did you feel like that did they surprise your guys?
No.
Or what when you think back in that game and why it went like it did, and we couldn't hardly do anything offensively or defensively in that game, what comes back to mind for you?
Biggest thing that comes to mind is, they ran it down our throat. We couldn't stop the run. We couldn't run the ball on offense. That's two bad combinations, and that's exactly what the Aztecs want to do. They want to stop the run, force you into being behind the chains so Coach can run all his combo coverage and pressures and all that stuff, and then they want to, they want to impose their will and run the football. We didn't have David Moala. We didn't have Ricky Liafua. Hunter Sharp didn't practice all week and played some of the first half, was injured. So we're out, we're without three of our best players going into that game. We got kind of beat up in the Boise game. That gets lost in it. Players still make plays. Schemes are schemes, but players make schemes good. Some of the plays that didn't get made were being made before that last year, and we didn't have the same guys in there. It was musical chairs on the D-line that week, and that's a bad week to have musical chairs on the D-line, trust me. So that's what I remember, and then we didn't play well, and they played really well.
And still going back to Pumphrey, he's got a skill set that is different, though. I mean, you'd think you'd be able to tackle him, and you have a really hard time, first off, getting him, and then he can run through people at his size.
Well, you look down and you see the piece of paper that says he's 5'9", 180. I mean, the guy is very, very durable. He's got so many career yards and career consecutive starts, career carries is what I was going to say. The amount of carries he's had and the amount of yards he's had over his career. I mean, he's a 180-pound kid, if that's true, but he's very, very durable. He's very, very tough. You see him run through tackles. You see him accelerate through tackles. He's got strong lowers. And then you see him fly, they fly him out of the backfield and use him in pass coverage or pass routes. The guy can catch a football. I just talked to 4 scouts in the building this morning, and I'm like, what do you think of San Diego State? And all they say is 19. Yeah. So, the scouts know about him. The guy's going to be a draft pick. I wish he'd have gone out last year. My first team All Mountain West ballot for running backs already filled out. It's him. Good player, really good player.
The deal about not getting turnovers, it sounds like in practice it's a very big emphasis.
Talked to a lot of coaches, Craig, on what you do to emphasize turnovers. The resounding conclusion, or what I keep getting from guys that I ask that question to, is, Matt, sometimes you get them in bunches and sometimes you don't. And I talk to defensive guys, and what I'm talking about is there's not a magic turnover drill. There's not a magic turnover circuit that you can all of a sudden just flip your fingers in October the 24th, let's roll with it on Monday's practice, and all of a sudden the turnovers are going to come in bunches Friday night. Ain't happening. I believe in what we're doing is what I'm saying from a turnover circuit and emphasis. We're talking about rip, strips, ball disruptions. We're talking about all that stuff. We do those drills. I got to keep believing it's coming. You got to get your hands up in the throwing lane. You got to get some tip balls, those kind of things. You got to rat-tat-tat, on top of the ball carrier, and it's got to be the second one in is going for ball disruption. We got to continue to preach it, coach it, and kind of hope and pray it starts coming. But I think we're coaching it well. We're not coaching it any different than we did the Boise State week last year. I can tell you that, So we're doing everything we can. It sure is a major emphasis.
How do you feel about your punting this year after 7 games?
It's just been okay. Just okay. I think Aaron's done a good job in the open field. We have not done a very good job of trying to pin opponents deep when the ball's around the 50. We got to do a better job of that. It's just the bottom line. We're not doing a very good job of it. We're leaving them out at the 15, 18-yard line. Not like I think what we're certainly capable of doing.
Matt, San Diego State's obviously really good on special teams. First in the Mountain West in punt return average, second kickoff average. So how important was it for your guys to come off a special teams performance like that and gain some momentum and confidence?
Yeah, I think we gained a lot of confidence in special teams from last week. And you look at San Diego State on special teams, first of all, it starts with the coaching. I got a lot of respect for Coach Houck and the things that they do. Those 2 return units are very driven by who's catching it too. So players make plays. Players win games. We've said that a long time around this place, and that certainly goes that certainly is the case when you look at their punt return unit and their kickoff return unit and the guy that's toting the rock. So they're good.
Your 2 players here today, Larson and Lindsey, quick thoughts on how they've played halfway through the season?
Derek's been a solid contributor. I don't want to call him – I wouldn't call it a surprise because I really thought he would be solid. He just hadn't had the opportunity until this year. He is solid against the run. He's getting better in his pass rush presence and the moves. He's a very good leader, chosen to our captain's leadership council. Very, very good player, solid, cares, football junkie. Tony Lindsay has played pretty consistent for the last month. He's run really hard. Kid's taking some shots. He's run with passion. He's taken I think he's put one on the carpet in the last 4 or 5 weeks, and that's it. So he's run with good ball security, catches the ball well out of the backfield. He's doing things right off the field. They both do things right off the field, and I think that's a direct correlation to how they play on game day. They're very, very consistent in practice, and they do a nice job on game day. I just think it's a good carryover for them, and I've been happy with both those guys, which is why you get to talk to them.
Yesterday, or after your last game, Fresno State, Roy, you got fired. feel about situations like that mid-season?
Yeah.
Guy gets fired after you beat them. It's got to be kind of a personal thing a little bit, or professional thing a little bit. I don't know.
It's hard. I have a lot of respect for Coach DeRuiter. Professionally, you guys already know we're good friends. This is the best profession out there. I'll argue it with anybody. The chance to compete. Most of us are type A personalities, and so the competitive fire, recruiting or football-wise, drives us. The ability to, or the opportunity to mentor kids and to see their development from young men to grown men and see them graduate and have success playing football and what they can do for their lives and their families is tremendous, I believe, in this profession. But there's many times it can be a cruddy business. And yesterday's one of them. So, yeah, it hits home for me because, you just see the guy 12 hours before. Not even 12 hours. I mean, from the time we walked off the field. So, but it is. We all sign up for it. So, got told by old scout this morning, coached twice as long as I have, and he's coached and scouted, and he said, Wellesley, you know the deal. The coach, either been fired or you're going to be fired. And so I've been through it as an assistant, and it's no fun because families are affected, assistants' families are affected, and kids are affected, and all that. But and it's just so public. But we get it, and we all understand that. And Timmy is he's a great man, and he does it the right way, and so.
Any Devontae Mays update?
Yeah, day to day.
We all are.
Get a new picture.
You want that tweet, don't you? He's getting closer. He's closer. Yeah. Yeah. Aren't we all day to day?
We all are. Every day.
Man, look at that sun breaking through over there. Sun came up. Yeah, listen to you, Steve. Anything else? You guys good? Have a great day. Okay, you're welcome.